Welcome back to SwitchCorner. Today we're going to be taking a look at the upcoming release schedule for the Nintendo Switch over this next week. With this video I don't cover everything, instead I take a look at those games catching my eye and whether I think they're worth a potential day one pickup or waiting on reviews first. So basically I'm skipping out the shovelware, or at least those games that look that way to me. So if you think I've missed anything, do let me know in the comments down below. This week though, gotta say we've got a lot to cover, that is for sure. 14 games. The Switch isn't shy about trying to make you pull out your credit card, I can guarantee that. So with that luck, hit subscribe if you love the Switch as much as we all do here. Join our growing family as we're pushing now towards 15,000 subscribers. Thank you all so much, and let's get started. So first up, Hyperbrawl Tournament. This one's launching with a 10% discount, and I will tell you now, day one for me, but let me explain why. A big childhood memory for myself was growing up playing Speedball on the Mega Drive with my dad, and this seems to be channeling that very game, a futuristic sports title where you basically chuck a deadly ball around at each other before, approaching the net. Hyperbrawl is a 1 to 4 player experience though, with single player, local and online play, and then it's all topped off with these neon tinged arenas, a campaign, 12 different heroes that actually have different classes, and even some special moves you're gonna need to master. No doubt, as I say, nostalgia is impacting my opinion on this one, so for most I'm gonna say wait on reviews first, see if they can justify the relatively high price tag. So Outpost Delta now, and it's coming from Hidden Achievement Games, a studio who seem to have previously basically focused on card deck games, so this is a big departure as they attempt to tackle a 2D side-scrolling run and gun entry. Here you and your AI companion will be defending a space station against alien invaders, and it even has twin stick shooting mechanics, which is always a good thing for me. The most interesting piece of it all though, your ability to control the station's gravity systems, not only for traversal though, but to get the upper hand on your foes. I do like the look of it, but I'll be waiting on reviews first just because it's on the pricier side of things. Also, the eShop description makes me a tiny bit nervous as it says a shooter for PC. Clearly a simple mistake and it's small, but I don't know, I like it when they take time to double check and triple check things. Maybe that's just me though, but I don't know, something makes me a little bit kind of nervous there. So this one I'm excited for, Scaredringer, a roguelike platformer coming from the team behind Neurofighter, and I was a big fan of that one, so I'm relatively confident in this one as well. Here we find ourselves in a post-apocalyptic world where a mysterious force has basically rained down destruction on all of humanity, and you are now of course the world's last hope, which means work out what the hell is going on while killing everything in sight. Here I'm expecting solid platforming with a ton of weapons to experiment with, but I will say if it's anything like Neurofighter, expect some serious challenge. Eurogamer actually described this single screen action platformer though as Dead Cells meets Celeste, and that's about as good as a combo as you can get, but I will say it's also a very bold statement to throw those two names out there in relation to this one. I'll be picking it up day one, it was an easy decision, and if you are curious, it has a demo available right now over on the eShop. Okay, so Horis now, and this one has been out on PC since 2019, has really strong reviews. The average on Metacritic is 80%, and it seems a ton of publications are just throwing praise its way, and you can take a look at that over on the description as well. This one, it's built and designed by fans of 18-bit and 16-bit experiences, so if that is your thing, it seems this will be well worth a look. It goes through a number of different styles as well, from standard 2D platforming to more intricate puzzle sections to even what seems to be those old school flying 3D moments. It even promises them Metroidvania style abilities, always a selling point for me. I'll probably go day one on this one honestly. It's offering a launch discount of 10% on what is already a relatively low price point for a game that's touting 15 hours of gameplay. So Supraland next, and this is a sandbox adventure promising 12 to 15 hours of open world puzzles, action and platforming, all set within a 3D world, and from what I can see it's all basically first person. Wasn't sure about this one honestly, but the more I look at it, the more I kind of start to like it. And then I realised it's also out elsewhere. On Metacritic it's holding an 85% rating, while on Steam over 5,000 reviews and the average is 10 out of 10. In this world though, it seems we are literally in a kid's sandbox, and outside of the puzzles, I'm seeing some good old fashioned dungeon crawling and first person combat. While I do like the look of it, I will be waiting to see how the Switch build runs before I spend any cash on it, but it could be a very good addition to that first person library. So Wartile now, and this was supposed to come out last month but was pushed back around a month. The game, it was in solid shape. I was playing it for like review, but there were a few small areas they wanted to iron out pre-release. So instead of like just releasing it then patching later, they actually chose to push it back, which I absolutely respect. This is a real-time strategy experience with heavy Warhammer influences. You can see these characters are literally standing on the bases. I like the small diorama design of these worlds though, where the battles take place, and I'm excited to see like how things have finally worked out with these tweaks being put in action. The real strategy here though, it is balancing movement and positioning alongside like a cooldown period that occurs after every action. I really like what I've seen of this though already. I would have been day one, I enjoy my strategy, but as I say, you can expect a review on this over the next week once that patch is live and good to go. So a game now that no doubt many already have sitting on their wishlist, Gunner 2, the sequel to the incredible platformer that hit the Switch a few years back now. It's actually on like sale right now as well. If you've never checked it out, maybe go take a look there. It is like super cheap. If you played the first one though, you'll probably go into this one expecting some serious challenge and no doubt like an out there kind of storyline. Love the visual style here though. The vibrant yet simplistic design has lost just none of its edge, and that procedurally generated level design, it promises a whole lot of replayability. There's even customization options just to top things off to make you want to come back even more. Easy day one buy as it is a budget experience where in my opinion, if it's as good as the first game, they're absolutely undervaluing it here. So Outbreak Epidemic is pulling on the nostalgia strings, that is for sure. It's a single player or local co-op take on the old school Resident Evil formula, meaning it's a complete copycat. 100% waiting on reviews here, as the ones I've seen over on Steam are not the strongest. But I can't deny that it's piqued my interest, my curiosity, so that's why it's featured on today's list. Looking on Steam, it seems though this is the 5th entry in the Outbreak series, which started back in 2017. This is the most recent release, but also the first one to hit the Switch. I'm going in basically expecting somewhat like old school controls, a whole lot of zombies, and then it has like class and leveling up systems along with buffers. Do not hold your breath on this being quality, but I will for sure be watching reviews and seeing if it's worth an ad now or in the future in a sale maybe. It may be one of those games that's like so bad it's, you know, good. This one though, it's also launching them with a 15% discount if you are considering that day one purchase, though I would not suggest it. So easily the game I'm looking forward to the most this week, I have high hopes for this, it's the Red Lantern. If you watch this channel regularly, yes it is because it kind of reminds me of a snowy take on Firewatch, but generally I just like the look of its originality as it's a story-driven roguelite survival game where you and a team of 5 sled dogs, you get lost in the wilderness in Alaska, and now you must navigate your way home. With nearly 100 encounters, items, upgrades, and even dog selection where they each get their own personality, I was sold at that point. I am going day one and I'm excited to see how visually it holds up and if that performance is where it needs to be, because no doubt we have a big sandbox world here ahead of us to explore. A quick one for you now, but Luna the Shadow Dust. This is a fully hand animated point and click puzzle adventure and it looks absolutely stunning. There is no question the animation on offer here is of a high quality. I grew up on games like Broken Sword, Monkey Island, Grim Fandango, so I will always check out anything in the genre. I'm looking for reviews first here, but I do have high hopes, and if the story that's being told without words is as good as the visuals, then we could be onto a winner here. This one, it also launches with a 10% discount, bringing that price down just slightly, but it's still not enough for me to go like day one. So Asterix and Obelix XXL Romastered, that's an awkward title, and we'll keep this one quick. This is the third Asterix remaster we've seen on the Switch, and I'll for sure not only be waiting on reviews, but waiting on a sale too. The other entries, they're pretty frequently discounted, so no doubt this one will jump on that trend as well. Not even sure how famous they are in America honestly, but they are known in the UK and super famous like in France, where Asterix even has his own theme park. This will no doubt, like the other two, be a relatively like average to like below average 3D platformer with some action thrown in for good measure. I'd hold off personally unless you're like a massive fan of the 3D platformer genre and you must have it in the collection. I'm just curious to see if it needs to go on the wish list for a future sale. A budget one for you here, but Grood, no discount, but it's not needed when it's this cheap, and I'll probably just give it like a day one go. It's cheap enough that I'm not going to complain if it's awful, but it actually seems to be a relatively like decent looking shmup that's then heavy metal fueled, which sounds amazing. If they can nail that soundtrack, this could be a very good time as you travel through a number of different worlds, taking down of course wave upon wave of enemy. Throw into the mix then something I always like to see in the genre, multiple bosses and global online leaderboards, and this could be a budget winner we have ahead of us. Alright, so our penultimate game of the week then, Transformers Battlegrounds, and it's coming from Outbreak Games. Earlier in the week I reviewed Sides, and I've got to say I was impressed, and even though they actually just ported another dev's work there with Sides, can't deny it's kind of got my excitement a little bit more up there for this one. Unexpectedly though, this is actually a turn-based tactical experience, and when I hear the name, you know, Transformers, I think like most, you think like 3D action, run and gun, hack and slash style, so this is a nice change of pace, and I think it is a great use of the license, offering 3 different difficulty modes, local multiplayer, and then the chance to lead the Autobots from Earth to Cybertron. This could be an excellent choice for fans out there. I expect to have a review on this one live on the channel come release day. If I don't, then I'd probably personally be waiting on reviews myself, just purely because franchise tie-ins like this one, they can always be a little, you know, hit and miss. So our final game of the week then, and it's not showing on the eShop just yet, but Pumpkin Jack is coming to the Switch, and if you ever played Medieval back in the day, or even the recent remaster, and you're a fan of it, you'll probably feel right at home with this one, or at least by the look of things. The trailer you are watching right now is for sure not Switch gameplay, let me put that out there, but I love the artistic design overall, and I always enjoy a good old 3D platformer. Here you'll be taking on the role of Jack, the mythical Pumpkin Lord, over a number of locations to help evil annihilate the good, with a host of moves then to learn and weapons to of course like experiment with. I'm excited to see what this one has to offer, and then of course I'm also curious to see what price point they go with, because I couldn't find any information just yet. And that is it, another week down. My personal top picks: Pumpkin Jack, Transformers, Hyperbrawl purely for my own nostalgia sakes, and then of course the Red Lantern easily taking that #1 spot. Will you be adding anything to your collection this week, or are you just taking a break and maybe, you know, working through some of that backlog? Also, did I miss anything you think I should be checking out? With that then, look, a shout out to the patrons of the channel who are just going above and beyond to support SwitchCorner. Helps more than you know, so thank you all so much. If you do want to check that out for yourself, I have linked it in the video description down below. Then hit subscribe if you love the Switch as much as we all do here. Join our growing family, and I'll see you all on the next video. Thanks everyone.